Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go through a simple massage ball routine that you can do to release tension and promote circulation throughout the body. So this routine I'm going to start off with releasing tension in the plantar fascia. So you can work through the base of the foot, find some tight restrictions, and you can point and flex the toes. So you can get more weight by standing on it, really getting in there, digging in, and then even balancing on that foot. You want to work both sides like that, release that tension. Find where it's tight. Then from there you can go into the calves and just find tension in there. So I like getting right in near the Achilles. Now, the calves are an area that a lot of people injure, so it's really important to keep them flexible and pliable and strong. So doing all your calf raise, tib raise work, as well as keeping an eye on them, self-assessing with this to check whether you've built up too much tension, and just to keep them more flexible. I find this really helps in combination with full range of motion. Calf raises, both bent knee and straight leg, and then more aggressive work where you're doing jumps or running. So working through both of those, ironing out any tension, using that active release method. Usually with the massage ball you want to work around a 5, maximum 7 out of 10. If it's too uncomfortable you might injure the area or make it take longer to heal, and equally if you don't get enough pressure there you're not really doing much. So you want to apply that nice sweet spot where it's uncomfortable but you're not tapping out. So then we're going to go into the perineal, so working through there along the shin, finding any tight spots, flexing and extending to actively release, doing both sides. Just always checking to see if right and left side have the same amount of tension, if there's imbalances there. And it's all a self-assessment process to work out how to balance your training routine, lifestyle, sitting, standing, sleeping, all of that. You're just always trying to get information so you can better improve how you live and how you tune your instrument on a day-to-day basis. So the body's always responding to your environment, reacting, and you always want to work with the tissues. So keeping them healthy through stuff like this is great, and just exposing them to pressure in all different positions. Whereas if you're just sitting, standing, and just sitting at a desk and not really moving your body in all different directions and not applying pressure, your tissues tend to become more sensitive and weak and more fragile. The hamstring you can actually do up on a bench, so you can get that active release. So here I'm just pinning it, pointing and flexing, releasing that tension, flexing and extending at the knee. So you can do that both sides. That works quite well, working up and down the hamstring. So on the lateral hamstring, medial hamstring, finding where it's tight. The glutes are great as well. Just ironing it right out, taking the ankle over the knee, tracing around the glute, leaning into it, using that breath. Finding where the tension is, letting it sink through to those different levels, nice and deep. That works quite awesome. It's good. In the spine, I work up and down the spine, left to right. In this lumbar region, I'll do flexion extension, so pelvic rocks. As I get into here, doing kind of a crunch action in between the shoulders, arm reaches. As I get into the upper traps and the neck, into head rotations, works quite well. And then using the second hand to press and holding with one hand to get into those suboccipitals. So let's get into them. Here, using that nice deep belly breathing helps. Working side to side, coming onto the side of the muscle into those erectors, finding where it's tight, using that breath, using a dynamic movement. All this stuff helps. Just find where you're tight, release the tension. I've got a good spot there. Take a big breath. Now, releasing tension is great, but unless you're going to do the work to strengthen your body and balance it out, it'll just come back again if you're sitting all day, driving all day, doing the things that create the imbalance, or you're overtraining. So you want to learn from it and say, well, how can I better balance my body so it feels better? And usually after a good workout where you push your body, you'll have a bit of tension there, but it shouldn't be something that lasts too long. You might, that 48-hour period after training, you'll feel a bit of inflammation, and then that should recover and fade away, and you should be ready to go for those same movements that cause the tension within 72 hours, ideally. So double exposures a week. I tend to do upper body twice a week, so getting double exposure there. And then I do loaded legs once a week, so one exposure, but then I'll do sprints and sleds and stairs, do a bit of gymnastic, light acrobatic stuff. So there's multiple exposures to the legs on other days. So working that arm raise, reaching across the body, getting that crunch cobra type action, getting the head rotations for the upper traps, finding that levator scap, getting on that, turning the head, working through the neck. Is a little bit hard in the middle of the neck, but you'll get better at it the more you practice. You can use a wall if you find it's a bit aggressive on the ground, so you can lean on a wall for the spine to do all of these. I like the floor, and then controlling that, putting some more pressure, getting there, all feels good. You can get around into the side of the hip as well. So we did the glutes, and then here we can get into more of the lateral hip, flexing and extending the hip, coming around into the front of the hip. And you can work along that lateral quad, getting some movement there, even working into the quad tendon right near the patella. And just above that, you can do some active releases there. There's really so much you can do. It's just a matter of being consistent. That's why I don't like spending too long doing this. And teaching people to do it as a quick whole body assessment, scan, warm-up drill. You can do it before you go to sleep as well, but the key thing is to develop skill in these techniques so you get better at it and get to know your body better. So here, going into those external rotators, finding where it's tight, into the lats, using the breath, and come around into the front of the shoulder, into that anterior delt. Works well. And the pec. Nice, you can even get into the jaw, into the masseter. Let the head, weight of the head, release that. If you're someone that grinds and you hold a lot of tension there, and you'll find that if you do grind and you clench doing that, so that's more reason to look at the lifestyle factors, your sleep, your mouth breathing through the night, mouth taping, making sure you've got nice clear airways, so you get that nice nasal breathing as well. And any emotional stress that might be there, working through that, because the body tends to tighten up as a protective posture through your sleep if there's some underlying stress. Because if you didn't clench your jaw and you're in a stressful situation, your jaw gets hit, it's dislocated, can't eat, you die, all of that. So your body has all these cool reflexes that you need to respect. You can get into the forearms, just like into the calves, into the back of the forearms there, do some pinning. These are all great if you like doing ring work and handstands and any heavy lifting with your grip. So you tend to get overworked. Into the palmar fascia is good. The tricep tendon's really good if you've got any tension in there. Doing those extensions, ironing that out. It's great if you can afford the time or the money or the resources to have someone work on your body for you. But this is just so simple, something that you can do yourself. Take it anywhere, get one on eBay or Amazon, and then just get the technique down so that way you get to really understand how to work with your own tissues. So I hope that helps, and use it. Make the most of this life and get the most out of this beautiful body that we get to enjoy it with. Stay positive. And if you're keen to do any coaching with me, I do online coaching, so it's proof of work, so you provide videos, photos, so that way I can give you feedback and work with you. I'm going to be providing more and more of the work that I do with people, and these type of videos, just to put it out there, and then also hopefully encourage more people to look after themselves and get more out of this life that we all get to enjoy. See you soon.